So the first step was that, number one, I stopped looking at my workouts just as a way to burn calories, because ultimately it's a losing battle no matter what you do. So when I actually didn't know any better, I stalled my weight loss and I was only eating 1,700 calories, but I could not get the scale to budge. And it wasn't actually until following the rest of these steps over a 2-year period that then I was able to effortlessly lose weight on 3,200 calories, which still blows my mind. So step number 2 was that since at the time I really only spent about 3 to 4 hours a week working out, there was really no way that I was going to undereat my way to more fat loss. And I was just out of time and had no more time to be able to work out more to try to burn more calories, because I have a family and life is just crazy full right now. It's kind of ridiculous, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. Now I actually got to go find something that I need for my own process of doing this, because I'm doing it again. So let me tell you about the next step while I'm going to look for this. Because here's the thing is, ultimately the data is really clear, and don't worry, I don't need a seatbelt right now. I'm not going far. That in order to lose weight, we do need to be in a calorie deficit. But most people would think that there's only 2 ways to do that, right? I mean, what we just talked about, eat less and move more. Now that's what 99% of people think, but there's actually a better way. It's to actually teach your body to just simply use more calories during all of the other hours of the day, which, I mean, frankly, there's way more hours of the day other than what you're doing working out. So that's honestly why I took step number 3, which was first to focus on resistance training. Because here's the thing is that when you build muscle, your body is going to need more energy, because it requires energy to be able to build and maintain muscle. And more energy is gonna come from food. So it means you get to eat more food. But remember, this just isn't picking weights up and putting them down.
I lift things up and put them down.
There's actually a simple method to do this strategically, but you can do this with body weight, resistance bands, dumbbells, machines, barbells. I mean, anything that's going to provide you resistance against your body. You just simply have to follow the method of getting stronger each week. So whatever you started lifting, eventually you should be doing more than what you were doing. The scientific term is just called progressive overload. It's progressively increasing the resistance on your body. So you're challenging your body a little bit more so that it has to adapt and to add muscle to accomplish that feat the next time you do it. So step number 4 was actually just to then be consistent with this process. Eating 1 gram of protein per pound of my ideal body weight, because that's gonna fuel the muscle growth. Then I was focusing on getting stronger each week. And then I was actually watching the weight on the scale and making sure that it gradually increased. Now, did you catch that? For a specific amount of time, I was looking for my weight on the scale to either stay the same or ideally gradually increase over time. But the question you're probably wondering is, why would I do this? And the reason is that muscle is metabolically expensive. It requires a lot of energy just to build muscle, but then also even more to be able to maintain that. And muscle is gold. I mean, it's absolute gold when it comes to fat loss and more importantly to longevity. So you want as much of it as you can have. Now what happens is when you're adding muscle, you're literally increasing your lean tissue on your body. So by definition, to add muscle, the scale has to increase. Your weight has to go up. You've got to gain more weight in order to actually be able to lose more weight. But I know that sounds crazy, and most people don't want to do that. But let me explain to you with the step number 5 that I followed, so that you can actually be one of the few people that really figures out how this works. Because most people don't want to do this, unless you want to be like everyone else and you get the same results that everyone else gets. But if you want to be different, step number 5 is key. So step number 5 then was actually to continue to fuel my muscle growth with more calories. So this is actually known as a method called reverse dieting. And what I did to start was just added 200 to 300 calories over the amount of calories I needed to maintain my weight in order to kickstart that muscle growth. Now, if you're not tracking, it's not a big deal at all. All you can do is just add 1 additional serving of meat, because again, that protein is essential. Now, those calories are vital to be able to build muscle, but after that, something really insane happens. Your body then actually becomes inefficient with how it uses calories. But I know that sounds bad, but it's actually exactly what you want. So imagine you got your first job and you're making $30,000 a year, which in this economy is not gonna get you very far. So you've gotta be pinching pennies. You gotta be counting every dollar so that you make sure that you can afford all the things that you need to be able to live. But now let's say you just won the lottery and you just made mega millions. So you have millions and millions of dollars now. Are you still pinching pennies? Are you even still counting dollars? Are you still counting $20 bills? No, probably not. Because now meeting your expenses, your bare bones expenses is way less of a concern because you have an abundance. You've got more than enough. So you're not gonna be worried about spending a little money here and there. Like a budget's still a good idea, but you're gonna be way more lax. That's the same thing that's happening with our body, but with calories. Now remember, this is all done through a controlled increase in calories. And what that does is actually cause something called metabolic adaptation, which has been studied over and over again. But metabolic adaptation is essentially just your body's ability to decrease or increase your metabolism based on your environment, based around what's around you, so that you can actually survive and thrive. Now, step number 6 is to just simply focus on getting stronger, but then aim to actually watch your body weight to increase by about 2 pounds a month. And if you're doing that, you're getting stronger each week, you're fueling that muscle growth with more calories, and your weight is increasing, you are by definition adding muscle, which is the good weight that you want. So step number 7 is where the few people that do figure out this method can actually mess this up. And I nearly did as well. But what I had to do was just watch for when my weight would stall out on the scale. And in particular, when my lifts weren't going up anymore, because now is a time where I need to add an additional 100 to 200 calories in order to kickstart that muscle growth again. And typically this is gonna happen somewhere within 4 to 6 weeks. Could be a little bit more, could be a little bit less. But this is actually what creates that reverse dieting effect of slowly increasing your calories as your muscle growth is increasing. Now I know this is counterintuitive, and that's why most people just don't end up doing this. But it's also the reason why it's so insanely powerful, in which I wish I could just shout it from the rooftops. You need to strategically increase your weight so that when you go to actually diet down, because now you've got a ton more leeway to cut your calories, you're gonna effortlessly lose the weight way easier and way faster. Now, I've done this multiple times, but do you remember me telling you how I was stuck dieting on 1,700 calories? I was hungry all the time, I was cold, nothing felt good, I had a terrible relationship with food. But most recently, over years of doing this, I actually got my calories up to 4,500 calories, which blows my mind. But then I effortlessly lost 15 pounds eating 3,700 calories. Stupid, ridiculous, I know. But the cool thing is that it's not just me. I've helped my other clients to be able to do this. Specifically, I've even helped my wife and my brother to massively transform their bodies by doing this. And my wife was in absolute awe because she pushed me for so long on trying to gain weight, because you don't want to gain weight. Women don't want to gain weight. I mean, who does? But she got stuck losing weight on only 1,600 calories after giving birth to our third baby. But then I had her build muscle for 1 year, just 1 year. We got her calories up to 2,400 calories. And then after she gave birth to our fourth baby, she effortlessly lost weight on 2,000 calories. She did not have an unhealthy relationship with food. She was not constantly hungry all the time. And to this day, it blows her away. Okay, where is it? Where is it? That's what I was looking for. There we go. My go-to foods for trying to increase my weight and add some muscle. But if you aren't sure which program you should actually follow in order to be able to do this well, I've got a free full body program right up over here that you can do from home. But even better than that, I actually show you in the program how you can tweak it and tailor it very simply to fit your own time availability and how often you want to be able to work out. And as always, go get strong, but first go give your kids a hug. Like I'm gonna finally make my way all the way back to my house and go do, because I think family matters more. And I'll see you over there on the link.